Cringeworthy intro over, let's get a beer. It's that time of the year again. The time where we make ourselves look like bloody idiots, eat lots of candy, and have a lot of taggy decorations around. And, oh well, that is just how it is. And we're drinking a lovely little demon juice. I tried to find like a Halloween-related beer, and I guess this was the closest thing I could find. It's from a Danish brewery. It's a hazy IPA, and there's a lot of that. Oh. We're already off to a great fucking start. I can't see shit in these glasses, so I'm probably gonna spill everywhere. Give me a second. And you might ask, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Dressed up like that, talking about movies. I did one of these videos like a couple of years ago, and felt like doing it again this year. And I'm taking this off because I can't see shit. And yeah, it was kind of fun to like read reviews of like movies that I love, that other people apparently hate. And yeah, why not put a camera on me and just do that? And I found out my magic mouse, so I can look at my magic screen over there where all my horror movies reviews are. And where do we read the reviews? We go to IMDb, of course. What a lovely place, full of equally minded and steady people who just love movies. And I made a little list about movies that I like to talk about. 7 movies I found, and yeah, where to start? I figured we'd start with a very recent movie, and I chose Malignant, which is a movie when the first released trailers to Malignant, I was so fucking hesitant. I had no interest at all to watch that movie. It looked like just another, like, in the same vein as The Conjuring and Insidious and all that other crap that I don't have interest in. I don't like ghost movies, especially like movies that try to scare you, because I watch like a bajillion horror movies. I don't get scared by horror movies anymore. So if the movie's intent is to scare me, it has failed. And at least most of the time, like 99% of the time, it fails. And so yeah, I had no interest in watching Malignant. But then I read like a review shortly after it had been released. And it talked about how it was like a crazy 80s throwback slasher with kung fu elements and lots of gore. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Did James Wan just pull a fast one on me? And and I stopped reading any more about the fucking movie, and I ordered a ticket to watch it in the theaters, and holy crap, I was not disappointed. This is a movie right off my alley. And it's crazy, it's silly, it's just good old wonderful. But I can imagine that some people will have problems with it, because it was kind of advertised as being another in the horror movie in the same vein as The Conjuring, and it definitely was not. So there are probably some people who are a little butthurt and feel like they were cheated. But let's read some of their opinions. Waste of time. Okay, we start off really well. You are better off using these 2 hours to learn underwater basket weaving. I can usually find something good to say about a movie, but this is absolute garbage. It's so ridiculous, far-fetched, and laughably terrible. I implore you to save yourself and use your time on something better than this. I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, it was silly, it was fucking ridiculous, and that's what made it so wonderful. Like, I don't know, I guess there's like spoilers for all the movies I'm gonna talk about. And Malignant seems to kind of have like it's a movie you probably want to watch without getting anything spoiled. So I'm just saying that now, and maybe leaving like a timeline you can go to for my next movie to talk about. Anyways, Malignant, awesome fucking movie. Like it starts off with this really weird, cheesy setting in an insane asylum hospital. I think it's a hospital, and it's so cheesy, it's lovely, and then there's like a long middle part that is like, it seems almost like a parody of how a James Wan movie would be, like someone almost plagiarizing him, and then it just gets so fucking crazy at the end with kung fu fights and all that shit, and I loved it. I loved every fucking second of the like last 30 minutes of this movie, and yeah, I don't get why people don't. All right. Have people been paid to write good reviews? I highly fucking doubt it, because it's a fucking great movie. I'm so confused by the 10 out of 10 reviews. This was one of the worst films I have ever seen. We nearly left. Point is, you nearly left. Anyways, it's unique, it's different. Like, it's not like all the others copy-paste horror movies that has been released in these past, I don't know, fucking decade now, I think. Like, with just a ton of the same kind of movies getting released. It was such a breath of fresh air, something unique, something different. And I loved it. I really, really loved the movie. Maybe it's just because it is so different. And who knows, maybe in like 5-10 years I won't even think about this movie. But for now, it felt like something I really needed for like newer horror movies. And really happy with it. Alright, next one. So stupid! I was excited to watch this, but I'm glad we watched it on HBO Max and not in a theater. It was so stupid and acting was horrible. The ending, so dumb. Such a disappointment. A lot of people talk about the acting being bad. I mean, there are some points where it is, and that's mostly when it's being like really ridiculous. And then there are other points where, I don't know, it doesn't feel that bad. At least not like compared to other horror movies. Like, I guess many people like have like a high standard of acting in horror movie. If they only watch like The Conjuring and Insidious and stuff like that, yeah, sure. If they watch like just the average horror movie, I think the acting is fine, like compared to like, again, the average horror movie. Let's have a sip of my demon juice. Okay, the nose is in the way. Cut out the cancer. That's a reference to the movie. I like James Wan usually. He made some movies I have really enjoyed. This is it one of them. This is it one of them. That sounds kind of weird. It is absolutely absurd. It's borderline comical at certain times. It's not good or remotely interesting. Waste of your time. You can say a lot of things about the movie. You can say it's too silly for you. You can say like the acting is bad. You cannot say it is not interesting, because holy crap, trust me. Like, again, compared to other newer modern horror movies, it is fucking interesting. And yeah, go. If you hadn't guessed it already, I give Malignant my full support, and go watch that movie. Alright, I think we'll just take a last one of Malignant before we move on to another one. Plotting hokey slop. Least anyone be swayed by the almost Joker-like fever with which most critics, armchair and professional alike are telling you to just enjoy this pad, because it's supposedly not trying to be anything but gory fun. I like to point out that even for the most stupidly enjoyable horror flicks, a modicum... What the fuck is a modicum? I'm just a Dane, I don't know English. Of decent pacing, dialogue and plot are still vital. And this movie is strung together with everything but these things. There's no tension because you see the big twist coming within the first 15 minutes, and every plot point's revelation is undercut by a smash zoom on the main character, while the pixels, where the pixies, where is my mind, comes blaring in absolutely nowhere and with no prior setup. It has incongruous and cringeworthy. It is so incongruous and cringeworthy that I laughed out loud every time it happened. Yeah, they played that song a lot, and I like that song. It was really cool. Again, you saw the twist within the first 15 minutes. I mean, if you're like looking at the movie and you're really trying to guess a twist because you know there's a twist, you probably could do that. But honestly, from most reviews I've seen so far, not a lot of people guess the twist, my friend. So either you're just very, very lucky or very, very smart. You just don't have good taste in movies, I guess. But yeah, I think the twist was fine. I hadn't guessed it until like... I also guessed it before it was released or like revealed. But it was quite a while in the movie before I thought about it. So yeah. Anyways, that has been the bad reviews of Malignant. I think some of the points are... Some are fair, some are like really dumb. Like, again... claiming the movie is not interesting, like, holy crap, did we not watch the same fucking movie? Like, The Conjuring is not interesting, in my opinion. And that's because it's like just another bland fucking ghost movie, in my opinion. And I know it's a movie that a lot of people love. I don't really see the appeal in it, honestly. This thing was fucking unique and interesting. And it gets big thumbs up from me. Anyways, on to the next movie. Alrighty, another really, really underrated, like, criminally underrated movie that I love, Castle Freak, from 1995. And it has a 6.6 rating on IMDb, and that's a little more than I had thought it would be. And I don't know why. I love this movie. It's like I hadn't heard of it until like a couple of years ago, so I just randomly found it on DVD on a webpage, and I bought it because I saw Jeffrey Combs was in it, and I just wanted to watch it. And I watched it. Holy crap, man! It is so fucking well made, and it's about this this dude who is played by Jeffrey Combs, who has inherited a castle and in Italy and goes there. And maybe I should just point out quickly, many of these movies I have not seen in a long time, so if I get like parts of the plot wrong or miss some points, I'm sorry. I'm just human. I don't have time to watch all the movies before recording this. And anyways, Jeffrey Combs, man, goes to Italy, has inherited a castle, and he's going there with his daughter, blind daughter, and his wife. And they find out that the castle used to belong to like this old lady countess, or what was this female duke called? Duchess, I guess. And I don't know what it was. And she had a child that went missing, or like died, they think. And they found out that she had actually kidnapped the child, or like locked the child up and tortured it for 40 years until it became like this horrific mess of a monster. And there was just something about that really hit home, or like just struck a nerve. I think this is a movie where, like, in the first 5 minutes, the Duchess, whatever she was, dies, and then like the evil, or not, I guess not evil, the completely destroyed, brutalized son who has been tortured for 4 years starts terrorizing the people on the castle. He gets out of his confinements, and it's really fucking brutal. And I kind of hate the fact that the real true monster of this movie dies within the first 5 minutes, and then just the victim, who has like been mentally and physically abused, is just left to terrify the people. I mean, I don't know. There's something about this. I think there's a very tragic villain in this movie, and yeah, I just like that. Anyways, enough babbling about the movie. You wanna read some bad reviews? I don't. And holy crap! Okay, I went into the 1-star one, and there's only one star. Like, even like in I guess this is just a point to show how unknown this movie is. That there's only one 1-star review. Okay, we're gonna read that. John Riley, Jeffrey Combs, has come to Italy with his wife and blind daughter in tow to arrange for the sale of his newly inherited castle. Unbeknownst to the family, they have not only inherited the castle from a distant relative, but the obligatory freak. You'd think I'd be better at speaking English by now. Who lives in the dungeon, said freak has lived his entire life without human comfort or love. Thus begin the conflict. However, I honestly don't believe it. This makes the makers of this movie intended it to be so hilarious. The plot was cheesy, the acting horrible, and the freak reminded me of a bad costume at a StarCon convention. I don't think so, honestly. What a horrible movie. I was excited to see it because of H.P. Lovecraft. It's supposed to be really scary, but this was just amusing. Please rent something else at the video store. I have to disagree. I actually find, like, again, I say I don't get scared by movies, but I do sometimes like get the tension, and this movie is like very intense at some points. And yeah, like when the freaks stalk the castle, and especially when he interacts with the blind daughter, that is like on the edge of your seat level. I will say, like, I think the makeup for the face is very good, and I think the only part about the body, or like the suit, is and I guess that's a weird thing to point out, but after I bought the Blu-ray version quite recently, I realized that when he walked around, he's supposed to be like butt naked, but his ass crack is like covered because it's like a thin what's the material yoga pants are made of, so something like a cotton suit covering his body or something like that. And you notice that in the Blu-ray version. I don't remember noticing that in the remake, but then again, they can't have the actor walking around butt naked, so that's gonna be cold in an old castle. So other than that, like the butt crack, you can clearly see that had been covered by something. I think the makeup and the suit is really well made, like super well made. Yeah, honestly. So don't know what you're about. Okay, we can't just have one review. So I'm gonna delve into the 2 stars review, and not a single 2-star review. Okay. Let's try 3 stars. There we go. Warning, spoilers. Oh, that's too long. I don't want to read that. Why the fuck are they all so long? Not much to see here. This movie was a disappointment. The story is essentially The Shining with a castle, or a very cheap set masquerading as a castle to be specific, substituting as the hotel and a monster instead of the ghosts. The budget is the same as you'd see in a Cinemax softcore porn. How do you know that? As is the photography, sets, lighting, and video. It was shot on. The story is a failed attempt at sincerity. There's no easy way to make your audience feel sympathetic for your characters than to show them experiencing emotional trauma. And the trauma in this movie is pretty tried. One example: a blind girl listening to a language tape, teaching the Italian words for colors, begins to cry at what you'll never see. I actually didn't point that out, to be honest. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe that's why I love all these bad movies, apparently. This movie had a few things going for it. However, the monster is actually pretty cool. Agree with you, dude. Pretty scary looking, and there's a pretty decent amount of nudity from Raffaella Offidant, herself a star of Italian erotic films. Oh, she is. Can you find more of her? She is actually pretty hot in this movie. However, leaves much to be desired, as does the acting, even from the experienced Jeffrey Combs. Other than this, I've only seen 2 other Stuart Gordon films, Reanimator and From Beyond, and both of which were outstanding. But I won't let this footnote in his career keep me from watching many more of his movies. Yeah, I agree with you. Reanimator and From Beyond, really good movies. But honestly, I prefer this one over From Beyond, if I'm being completely honest. And I guess I think you made some decent points, but I still don't get why 3 stars. Like, it's the same with like people who give like 1 star. Like 1 star for a good movie. For me to give 1 star to a movie, it has to be so fucking bad. It has to be so fucking bad. And giving this, I don't know. I can understand if people would give this a 5 or 4 perhaps, but less than that, I think people are just being mean to it. All right, let's see if we can find a relatively short one. A disturbing Silence of the Lambs, but boring. This is a candidate for the worst movie I've ever seen. I wanted it to be as shocking as Silence of the Lambs, but neither had the style nor the wit of the aforementioned. The makeup is excellent, the acting is very good, but the story seems to drag on for years, and the murders are so gruesome that they are more disturbing than entertaining. That's a weird fucking review. Like, first of all, why would you compare this movie to Silence of the Lambs? Like, if that's the only like in the same style as a horror, I guess if Silence of the Lambs feels a little more like a creamy thriller sort of movie. But if that's like the only reference to a horror movie, and comparing this to Silence of the Lambs just seems like a weird thing to do. I'm glad you say that the makeup is pretty good and the acting is good, because I feel like the same. I feel like the acting of most of the people are good. Like, again, it's like a cheap B movie, so we can't expect everyone to be great actors or give like 110%. But the story seems to drag on for years. I guess they could probably cut like a little of it, but I wouldn't have. I prefer it like it is, but I guess for like more mainstream audience, they would cut like 10 minutes or something like that, and more people might have liked it. But anyways, still confused about the Silence of the Lambs comparison. All that cheap crap I surrounded myself with, like a fucking foam gravestone, lot of plastic, like just to ruin the environment, and this not even real pumpkin. And I even bought more earlier today. I bought this fucking thing. This is a skeleton on a bicycle. Watch him go, and he can go by himself. If like I put batteries in earlier today. Like, I just need to turn it on. There we go, and move. Move! Go! What the fuck? He went earlier! God damn it! Ah, he's voice activated. Alright, I need to talk to him. Alright, let's try again. Drive! Go! Go! Drive! 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 Go, you motherfucker! Merry fucking Christmas, Jack Skeleton! Drive! Cheap fucking shit. Where are we? Bad movie reviews. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alright. On to another really underrated movie that I love. And it is called The Void. And this... I love this movie. I was so taken away by it. And so surprised by it. I had not expected it to be as good as it was. And what it's about... It's kind of like... It's kind of like a very loose... I almost want to like compare it to like John Carpenter's The Thing. Because some of the elements in the movie like... Anyways, it's about like this policeman who finds an injured man and drives him up to the nearest hospital. The hospital is about to close because I think there's been a fire or something. I can't really remember. They're closing down the hospital and they only have like a small handful of staff and a couple of patients that are still there. And he drives the injured man to the hospital and he's chased off by two dudes who are like trying to kill the injured man. And they get to the hospital, and suddenly there's a cult outside, preventing them to leave the hospital. And it's been a while since I watched this. I really love this. And yeah, shit gets down. It has a ton of practical effects, monsters, and really, really great story. I think great movie, really underrated. And the reason why I compared to John Carpenter is kind of like, again, this is a bunch of people who are like isolated. Like in John Carpenter's, they are isolated by the elements of the weather. Here they are isolated by the cult outside that won't let them leave. And they're stuck within a hospital where some of them start turning into monsters. And really like, when they get to the basement, like some of the practical effects in the basement are like so fucking great. And I've said "and" like so many fucking times. I wish one day I want to like do a video completely dedicated to this movie, where I watch it and write notes so I don't sound like such a fucking idiot when talking about this movie. Anyways, The Void, I fucking love it. Watch it. And now we're gonna read some bad reviews. Best part of the movie was the trailer. Don't get me wrong, had me interested in the beginning, but as the movie, in quotation, progressed, it started to get off track, like derailed. The plot was all over the place and they never really explained anything in the movie. Like, why is the one guy mute? It's been a while, but I seem to remember that the guy had been like cut in his throat and was mute because of that. But that's, again, it's been a while, so I might not be able to remember that. So yeah, I think that was explained. Why are they praising this triangle? It's never explained and they call it the Abyss. The name of the movie, it's called The Void. Like, does the name of the the Abyss and the Void need to be like intertwined? Like, does that need to go up in a higher unity? I don't think. Not to mention at all. Would not recommend unless you want to be high and have a cheap laugh. Go watch Hellraiser or The Thing if you want a better movie. I don't know who in the right mind would give this movie more than 1 star. There's much better B movies out there. I don't know who in the right mind would give this 1 star. Like, seriously, again, we're back to this fucking idea, like, 1 star, that is, in this case, the lowest you can give a movie. So this is, like, the lowest kind of movie you have watched. And have you watched bad movies, my friend? Have you watched any bad movies? Because they get a lot worse than this. Like, again, giving this 1 star, it seems kind of insulting. Even if there are tons of movies that I don't like, but I can still look at them objectively and give them like maybe 3-4 stars. If I had to like be like that, even though I don't want to watch them at all. I don't get, like, if you're a horror fan and you just give 1 star to this movie. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, at least appreciate the practical effects. I think you missed some points. Like, not everything has to be explained. I think many movies it's better if they explain as little as possible. I mean, enough for you to understand what's going on, but you don't need to get like the full picture. You don't need to like know everything about this religion in this movie. And why again? Why does did the movie need to be called The Abyss? Because they are worshipping something called The Abyss. It's called the Void, because like it's a big emptiness, I guess, at the end. I don't want to get into it because I cannot remember. There's probably a more clever reason to why it's called the Void. Anyways, totally void of content. Clever. We're proud of that one. We're fucking proud of that one. I guess you were. Zero substance movie. After about half an hour, you quickly start to get that the intro of the movie was nothing more than a substanceless side plot that doesn't go anywhere. Some of the actors that play important roles do their job well, and there's some impressive contortionists employed in this movie, but they are all so poorly used. I disagree, my man. They have tried Kahootlu. What the fuck is a Kahootlu angle to give this movie more substance, but it turned out to... Oh, is it supposed to be Cthulhu? That's not how you spell that. I don't know if that's what you mean. But it turned out to be a movie that you should never expect a sequel from. Not every movie needs a sequel. Like, I don't think this movie set out to be like a franchise to get like a ton of sequels. Like, again, you have a weird point, my friend. Like, most movies don't get sequels. And yeah, anyways, where was I? It's just too boring. You could turn this movie into a half-hour script and it might be entertaining, but the way it just feels like a waste of an hour and a half. Sorry, but I want my hour back. Poorly convinced equal 1 out of 10. Disagree with you. So yeah, I agree. Some of the actors, like I think they didn't really get a whole lot of like professional actors. Many of these people are just like the best they could get. Like, this is an ultra low budget movie, but I think they do really well for like how little experience they have. And it's the same with the effects. Well, again, how low the budget for this movie was, they do such a great job with this movie. Do not listen to the positive reviews. Do not listen to the fucking 1-star reviews. Damn, that's a long one. Spoilers ahead. As somebody who loves The Thing, Hellraiser, and In the Mind of Madness, I can't believe these things in the Mind of Madness. Did you mean In the Mouth of Madness? Or is that movie called In the Mind of Madness? I don't know. I think you meant In the Mouth of Madness. Which, wow, if that's the case, you really love it so much that you don't even remember what it's called. I can't believe these are the films people compare The Void to. This isn't the next modern insert good film here. It's just really lazy rehash of better movies with none of the soul and passion behind it. I mean, there are definitely like points that feels inspired by other movies, but I don't feel like they're rehashed. More like an homage or like a loving nod to those movies. Everything about this movie is shallow, uninspired, and tired. The characters are boring and uninteresting. The plot is vague and unoriginal. The monster design are forgettable. They are not fucking forgettable. Like, they are not fucking forgettable, my man. Yes, there are practical monster effects in this film, but the designs themselves are underwhelming and unoriginal. Side plots are left by the wayside, so don't expect any of your questions to be answered. Again, what is the fucking obsession with like everything to be answered? Like, can't you have a fucking mystery in a movie? Like, come on. Plot time. This movie takes place in a mostly abandoned hospital. There are some cult guys out on the hospital lawn wearing spooky bed sheets. They just kind of stand outside. One of them has a knife and stabs somebody, but that's it. I guess everybody else forgot to bring their knives that day. Oh, but don't worry. If the cults and monsters aren't scary enough for you, there's plenty of people drama. Mr. Cop protagonist likes to fight a lot with violent for no reason thug character, and the half of the film's tension and atmosphere. There's also teenagers giving birth and unqualified intern to make the half-competent actors look good by comparison. To the film's credits, the only two people who survived are the most expendable characters. Can't say expected that. Unlike good cosmic horror flicks, this film doesn't make you afraid of how small and insignificant your existence is in the universe. Nothing about this film is profound or interesting. It's underwhelming at best. You will walk away feeling as though you gained nothing and if your time has been wasted. I hate this movie. I hate that it was tricked into watching it by these reviews. Like, my fucking man, tricked into watching it by these reviews. Like, you made your own fucking decision. And I don't think people, like, when they write a positive review of a movie, they intend to trick anyone. I think, like, maybe, again, if you look at, like, all these... I mean, sometimes I just think it's like a bunch of sad fucking people who just can't enjoy a good movie. Oh well. Dear boy. What is it with people trying to come up with like pun names of these movies? Oh god, can I have my 90 minutes of life back? Terrible, period. I pile of nonsense. Cliche lines, poor acting. IMDb's rating are not trustful anymore. Some relatives or friends involved on the movie maybe don't know, avoid like the plague. Some relatives or friends of the movie, like sure, like that's probably like some of the actors' mom or father who like when they didn't give it like a good reviews, but dude, like to even think that all the good reviews just comes from like relatives or fans of it just shows how little you know. It just makes you sound dumb, like a fucking idiot. We are in hell. No, you're in a B movie. Not to spoil anything for the future viewers, but it's just downright stupid, very boring, very predictable, and being derivative. I think 90% of this video is just gonna be me not knowing how to pronounce word. And being in this movie, worse sin. Anyone who has already seen Hellraiser and John Carpenter's earliest films and read Lovecraft, who can take Lovecraft seriously nowadays, would yawn watching this or laugh. The last 20 minutes can easily be turned into unintentional gory comedy. Avoid again. Oh, they're fucking clever bastards. Avoid at all costs. Senseless trash. The acting was terrible. No plot, no story. With so many glowing reviews, I feel like I was tricked into watching. Again, this thing about people being tricked. I don't get that. I'm not usually lost for words, but I cannot give a longer review. There's just no substance and nothing to talk about. Avoid. Rating 0 out of 10. Jesus Christ, like if you give it a 1, there's absolutely nothing to enjoy about this movie. Like the practical effects, like who does that nowadays and on such a low fucking budget? Like, to me, in my mind, even if I hated fucking horror movies, I would at least give this thing like 3 stars, just out of the like practical effects and just the sheer audacity and originality of this movie. And I don't like 1 star. Like, dude, man, you gotta hate life. You gotta hate puppies. You gotta hate horror. You gotta hate everything, man. All right, I can't take any more of that. So we're gonna just jump on to the next one. I think my hair is getting under my witch hat, which is not nice. More beer. Ah, yes. Now, Evil Dead is a franchise that I fucking love. It is the movies, even the TV series with Ash Evil Dead, it's all just fucking great. I don't think there's like a single bad Evil Dead movie, in my opinion. And that's why we are talking about the 2013 remake. Holy crap, I love this movie. I still, to my mind, like in the past 10 years, I think this is one of the best, at least in my top 3 best movies made these past 10 years. I love this movie. I think it's really, really great. And honestly, small part of me, like, I love the first Evil Dead, but if you had to like make me choose right now to watch either the original or the remake, I probably would sit down and watch the remake, honestly, because I like that. I mean, the first it's great, it's iconic, it's really cool, gory effects, and but Evil Dead didn't really find its character until like later in the series. And if we're talking about the sequels, like if I would watch the remake or Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness, I think it would be harder. But if you compare the original Evil Dead to the remake. I think the remake is just very, very entertaining, and I would probably watch that right now if I had the choice. Anyways, let's watch some reviews from people who just don't like fun. Evil remake. More bloody puns! Save your money, this film is a cash grab of the highest order. A truly shallow attempt to remake a film all horror fans hold dear to their heart. When Sam Raimi shocked and delighted the world with Evil Dead, he did so with the purest intention and divine talent. Original story, groundbreaking gore effects, stunning visuals, mesmerizing tension, a masterpiece. Okay, maybe can't. I like the first Evil Dead. I wouldn't go that far. And if Sam Raimi is ever out of toilet paper, I know someone who can clean his ass for free. He did so without the desire for box office statistic, nor did he pay shills to promote the film. He simply poured his heart and soul and genius into something he truly loved. This pale, inspired, vapid excuse of a remake is an Evil Dead film in name only. Nothing original, nothing enthralling, nothing shocking, just nothing. The sooner Hollywood realizes the audience are sick of these type of tepid imitations, the better. Classic and much loved movies should be left to age gracefully and to find audiences on their own terms for generations to come. The Mona Lisa was not repainted, and if it had been, the copy would be spat upon the codename as a fake, or condemned as a fake. Well, this fake is even worse. 1 out of 10. Damn, son! Oh shit. Like, okay, maybe you like hold the original Evil Dead in a little high regard. Again, if I had to give the a number based of the original Evil Dead, I'll probably give it like 6.5 out of 10. I guess you will probably go to 10 because you like extremes, my friend. Like, holy crap, this whole again, also he did out without the desire for box office statistic, nor did he pay shills to promote. Yeah, I mean, you can technically still do that today, but the market is so overflowed, like every idiot with even a cell phone can create their own horror movie. So like, if you want people to watch the horror movie, you need a little bit of that because there's so much around, and it's a remake. So I think like as a remake, this is about as original as it can get. Like it has like a border or like a square called Evil Dead that it needs to keep it inside, and I think it just gets straight to the edge of that square without like stepping over it. Like you could change like a handful of small things and it could be a completely different movie. And you can maybe say, oh, it has similar elements to Evil Dead, but not be an Evil Dead movie, in my opinion. And I love it. Like the effects are bloody awesome. And yeah, I really love this movie. Not very good, 3 out of 10. Yet you gave it 1. Why does people do that? Say they give it 3 and give it 1. It's just because like I know some people have this idea that other people are rating the movie wrong, and then they go in and like they rate it lower than the real thing to get like the average review score down, or like in the other way, like give it a higher rating than thing to get the average review score up. And that is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever fucking heard. Like, you do not decide what the average review score should be. Like, that's like the average review score. Give your honest fucking opinion of a movie, and then an honest fucking review score, and then the average review score is the fucking honest review score. Like making this like fake review to like pull it down or elevate it, it's just it's fucking baffling. I never understood people who do that. And yeah, enough about that. Let's read this one. Disappointed with this. Saw it at the South by South Film Festival and I was not impressed. I didn't even think it was going to be anything special and would pale against the excellent original. But I expected more. The gore was over the top and silly, the tree rape was thoughtless torture porn, it wasn't scary, it was not imaginative, in fact it was boring. And the saddest thing, so much effort put into this, shocking and outraging the audience with blood and guts, when the net result is tedium. Glad Raimi had nothing to do with this, at least he became like Romero and lose luster with his ill-conceived later films. The tree rape, in my opinion, was toned down quite a bit compared to original. I don't like torture porn. Like there wasn't even any nudity. It was like it was toned down to such a degree that you can almost not like tell. If you're like not paying attention, you could like, if you're like an idiot, you might not think that's what's going on. But even the biggest fucking idiot watching the original will never not misunderstand that the lady is being raped by a tree. And I don't know why. Like, again, I think they handled it better than the original, in my opinion. And yeah, the effects are bloody outrageous and guts and everywhere. So what's the fucking original? Like, it's been like so many fucking years since that was made, and that was like some of the best effects they could probably make at the time with that budget. And I think this is some of the best effects they could make at this time, like 2013, with that kind of budget. So again, I don't get your opinion. Yeah, I got some takeaway that's just right around the corner. Can't wait. Evil Dead for the Xbox generation. I never thought I would become a grumpy old man, but it seems that this state has now reached me in my mid-30s. To put it bluntly, this film is the cinematic version of edible gloop, served in a jar, then fed to dribbling teenagers with unrefined taste. It lacks the spine and balance to be called a good horror film. It lacks the originality and imagination to be called a cult classic. It has too much senseless meat. Boom! Ooh! My food! Look at that! Ah, sushi. Bloody love sushi. Oh. This is bloody good. But I'm gonna save this for after I'm done doing this video. Alright, where was I? You did for the Xbox generation. Okay, where was I? It has too much senseless meat, bones, screw, and cartilage to be considered a mainstream frightener. Basically, this seems to have been made for blood-hungry gamers who are happy when seeing the human body torn, ripped, or torn asunder. Well, I kind of fit into that category, so I don't know. Like, I can't blame your logic on that, my man. The story is a vacuous imitation of the Raimi classic, a few similar plot devices, but without the charm, thrills, personalities, and originality. What it had more of was blood, barrels of it. No tension or fear, just thick, meaty blood. Those gamers will be extremely well fed. I felt like I kind of talked down too. Like, come on, man. Like, other than gamers like horror movie, dude. Please stop doing this to us, Hollywood. Please stop exhuming original classics films from their rightful place of rest, giving them a cheap modern makeover, then foisting them, whatever fucking word is that, upon us like they are a new dish created by the. Are they supposed to be foisting? Fuck it. Them upon us like they are a new dish created by the world's finest chef. They aren't. They are tasteless, nauseating mush, and only willingly consumed by the tasteless, nauseating drones. I am happy to confirm that I'm just a mindless drone, or nauseating, tasteless drone, or whatever he called me. I don't care. I didn't really get why we had to like drag gamers and the Xbox generation into it. Like again, I had a long before I started to become a video game collector, I had a long time where I was like just into horror movies, and then later like the horror movies, and I had like friends who don't play any video games at all and who loves horror movies. So I don't really get your comparison to like gamers and horror. Like sure. Like, there are also gamers who like mini golf. I don't get what your fucking point is. Like, it's all mini golf made for gamers. Another like trying to be like a pun thing. No ash leaves ash in your mouth. Okay, they want like Bruce Campbell to be in it. Shame, Raimi, shame. Sam, why would you risk your outstanding legacy by attaching yourself loosely to this other schmoozle? Clearly you were offered a few bucks to help promote this film and give it some credibility, but it's money worth more than credibility, reputation, respect. I would say the same about Bruce Campbell, but he has never been more than a B actor, though still totally awesome, and thus I understand his desire to make quick buck. But Sam, you have no excuse. Damn, dude, he just like, from the first guy I read about who like was ready to just like kiss Sam Raimi's ass, this guy is like just tearing him down. As for the film, well, it is gory and boring. That's pretty much sums it up. Poor quality gore, by the truckload. No, my man, we didn't watch the same movie. Like, holy crap, the gore is fucking amazing, and in my opinion, has still not been topped to this day. So yeah, where was I? Poor quality gore by the truckload. No tension, no story worth noticing, no scares, no charm, no ash. No Ash. Expect for a tackle on cameo after the credits. The lack of Ash makes this film even more execrable. Execrable than it already is. Fuck that word. Plot holes galore. Contrived plot twist. Obvious ending. Terrible acting. Woeful characters. Lack of depth. Just an awful film. Sam, what have you done? Like, you're putting a lot of blame on Sam, but like, I don't think he's like the only one who like greenlighted this movie. I think there's like a ton of people who also like has something to say about like the movie rights of The Evil Dead. Why did you want Bruce Campbell to be in this? Like, really? I mean, sure, it could be fun with another Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell, full on high budget movie, but this was not what it was supposed to be. This was supposed to be its own thing. And what was the other thing? Terrible acting. You, my man. Like, the main girl, like, I can't remember the actress' name, but she did a fantastic job. And plot holes galore. What fucking plot holes? I mean, there might be some, but I don't really... I can really... At the top of my head, remember like any like plot holes that like stick out that much. So lack of depth, that's just a bad term people use. Like, oh, this movie has depth. What the fuck does that mean? Like, oh, this movie has lack of depth. Like, what the fuck is your opinion with that? Say something else then. That is just it's same when chefs like look at this and taste it and go like, yeah, it got something, this thing. Like, what the fuck does it have? Like, oh, I watched like a reality like cooking show, and the chef judge dude, he's always like tasting and says, yeah, it got something, this, and you always like, what the fuck does it got, man? And it's the same with this, like, depth. It has a lot of depth, or it lacks depth. And Dali, you are ranting now, and you probably should go on.
Fix on this motherfucker!
Alright, Tremors! I fucking love this movie. I guess I'm putting this in the category of horror. It's more of a creature feature. Honestly, I feel more like a comedy than a horror. And I love this fucking movie. I watch it like at least 2 times a year, always. It's just brilliant. There's this little small shit town out of nowhere called Perfection. That only has like a handful of people living there, and suddenly they get attacked by these giant worms that react on the sound that people make on the surface, and it's really, really well made, and a movie with Kevin Bacon, which is, it's always fun to see a young Kevin Bacon, and yeah, he probably would never do something like that today, but anyways, let's read some bad reviews, and holy crap. Only 2 1-star reviews. That kind of like, in my opinion, that's just prove the quality of this movie. Anyways, yeah, let's just start with the first one. The secretive. I use like hard words. Like, I'm just a Dane. Excuse me, I'm bad. Where ludicrous and ridiculous can be inadequate. Well, fuck you. This movie belongs in the extreme realms of absolute fantasy. I find. It's hard to believe that there are viewers who regard this as possibly the greatest sci-fi movie of all time. A giant worm, one of the most basic forms of life, has the mental capacity to plan a strategy. I mean, it's like a big fucking worm, my man. It's not, you can't like compare this to like a regular earthworm, dude. That's the same to say like a human is just a smart monkey, which we technically are, but. There's a difference, my man. Capable of outwitting the residents of a small town which consisted of maybe a dozen rickety old buildings, bearing in mind it's a sun-baked desert. Let us not confuse the desert with the beach, where the sand is soft and only the very top layer is of a mandible texture. I don't get how this is divided, like, it looks kind of weird. Now we have a creature capable of propelling its soft body through the ground at speeds which are estimated to be way in excess of any man-made device. It sucks a 2-ton station wagon down in the depth. The headlights were still on. Hours later, some battery, I must get one. The like split in this, like it's confusing me. And wraps a tentacle around an axle of a large pickup, almost preventing it from moving. The acting was poor. The acting was poor, as demonstrated in the casual approach by the most precarious situation. I am well aware the degrees of make-believe is necessary in order to provide acceptable entertainment. That is what sci-fi is all about. This film strains any concept of logic to a level which I find completely unacceptable. The Alien series and both versions of The Thing are way better, and I couldn't list numerous other horror and sci-fi movies superior to Tremors. I will not be wasting my time with the sequels. Shame, because the sequels are really good also. Not as good as the first one. The first one is definitely the best, but I think it's definitely the horror franchise which has the like highest quality sequels. Like in total, like I think it has 7 sequels, 7 or 8. Yeah, and I think the worst one is the third one, and it's even like not that bad. It's like it's probably a 5 in my opinion. And it's kind of impressive with a series like this. And I think the last one, like the 7th one, is like probably in my top 3 of the Tremors movie, which is like unheard of. Usually, the more the series is pulled out, it's like it gets worse. But definitely watch the sequels to Tremors. Like the 3rd one is probably the worst one in my opinion. And then Dane Cook, I think his name is, gets a little annoying in some of the sequels. But other than that, if you can ignore that, great movies. And I guess you couldn't push away your sense of disbelief, or like you didn't like the idea of the worms or something like that. Like, my man, like you're talking about like aliens and the Thing. Like you can accept shit like that, but you can't like accept Tremors. I don't know, my man. Like you have problems. Who is Melvin's parent? Oh my god, I read that so many times when reading up on the Tremors, like people who are like crazy, like who the fuck is Melvin's parents? And in my opinion, I was just thought like they were like some random weirdos who like didn't care about their son and just left him there, going on a bender or like going on vacation, just left their kid at home. But yeah, anyways, some people are very annoyed by that. I'm not giving this movie a bad review. Gosh, no, just the fact that it never mentions who Melvin's plot parents are, or if he has any parents in the movie. Who takes care of him? If he doesn't have a parent, I want to know this fact. It drives me crazy every time I watch this movie. That's the one thing my family and I can't figure out. It's an excellent movie. What? I'm not giving this movie a bad review. Gosh, no. Just the fact that it's never mentioned who Melvin's plot parents are. Or if he has any parents in the movie. Who takes care of him? If he doesn't have a parent, I want to know. This fact, it drives me crazy every time I watch this movie. That the one thing my family and I can't figure out. It's an excellent movie. In fact, I love all 4 Tremor movies. Also, it's a shame that Kevin Bacon wasn't in any of the other ones. But I think that the movie Tremors couldn't get any better. It always leaves me in laughter and excellent, even though I know what's gonna happen next. Still excites me to this very day. Oh, I think this might have been like a mistake. Like he might have pressed 1 by mistake. He seems pretty happy with Tremors, and like I thought, as far as I could see, I thought like just the fact that he didn't know who Melvin's parents was the entire point of him giving it 1 star. But I think this was just a mistake. He sounds like he loves this movie. All right, let's go get into the 2 stars. There gotta be more in there. We gotta get 2 more. Okay, we can read those. Tremors caused by my farts would be more entertaining. No one wants to hear your bloody farts, mate. The first thing I want to point out is the atrocious musical score. It turned me off immediately. Half of it was gross conscious sounding and the other half was super cheesy and dated. Other than that, this movie is filled with old movie attributes. Like if you're writing the full words later, why even use the short version of it? Unbelievable stupid decision made by characters, parts that makes no sense, horrible ADR, and some of the cheesiest moments in movie history. Way to go, dudes. About 3 viewings. I mean, dumb decisions. Again, I watched this quite a few times. I failed to remember. Like, again, with the information people are being fed. Sure. Like, there's not like a situation where like, oh, what a fucking idiot. Like, maybe except for Melvin, but everybody fucking hates Melvin. But other than that, no, I don't get your point, my man. Moldy cheese. Seeing that this just got a deluxe 4K Ultra release, and just watching They Live, which I absolutely loved, I figured this must be another funny movie with some memorable lines. Boy, was I wrong. I remember seeing parts of this as a kid and being scared of the monsters, not paying attention to any of the over-the-top bad acting. Even Kevin Bacon, who was worried his career would be over filming this movie, plays the part of a dumb desert hick terribly, running around the whole movie like a fool with a bad accent. Like, it's an endearing character, charming, I like him. It's just bad all around. Bad script, bad brain-dead characters. The movie tries to make everyone seem kind of dumb and likable, so you should be laughing, but it fails flat. I disagree. I think they are really charming characters. And Bert who just like steals the fucking show and steals the fucking franchise. He's the only character who like appears in all the sequels, and I fucking love him. And Tremors, like, I gotta say, it's impressive that only like 2 1-star reviews and 2 2-star reviews was on IMDb. I expected it to be more, but I guess this movie is just that beloved, honestly. I don't think people like hate this, which is awesome. Alright, I think it's time to get a little more booze in this video. Whip tea. Fucking love Ballantines. That's like it's cheap, but it's one of my favorites. Like my go-to whiskey. Alright, next movie, and it's Candyman. And I bloody love that cover. Holy crap. And it's the original Candyman, not the remake. I did not like the remake. I watched it here like a month ago, and I was not impressed, to say the least. And oh well, that's like how it is sometimes. But we still have the original to be happy about. And yeah, let's read some bad reviews. Disappointing. With his big fur coat, giant hook hand, and B-strong body, Candyman is a very cool character played by Tony Todd, a very cool actor. Unfortunately, he's only in this movie for about 12 minutes. The rest of the time is spent with an uninteresting grad student who is doing research on urban legends. Horror movies have taught me that there's always a class on urban legends at every college. She unearths the tale of Candyman, which apparently ticks the guy off because he lives on through the word of mouth, and if she demystifies him, he'll die, I think. The movie is kind of confusing. At one point, the uninteresting grad student talks to an older colleague who also wrote a paper on Candyman, but Candyman seemingly had no interest in killing him. Oh wait, because the uninteresting grad student is a reincarnation of his past love or something. Again, the movie's kind of confusing, not very scary either, although the part where Candyman slices off a young boy's genitalia and throws them in the toilet goes beyond any John Waters movie in the ugly bad taste department. Okay. This movie has lots of good ideas, and the direction is good, and the slow pacing and dull characters really hurt it. Despite cameo from Sid Raimi, I can't recommend this movie. It's stuff like this that keep Clive Barker from becoming a future of horror. Now, I love this movie, and the slow pace doesn't bother me. I kind of like a slow-paced horror movie. It kind of gives more time to build up and like learn the characters and like feel more fun. If it's a horror movie where they're just like to get gutted, I don't like it. You don't like it hurts more to see a character you like go through like horrible things than just watch some like cannon fodder side characters die. And a lot of horror movies these days are like, it feels like the fucking side characters are the main characters in the movie, and yeah, it's not that great. Confusing, Confusing? I'm not sure what to be confused about. I can't remember. Like he talked about like another colleague who also wrote a paper on Candyman. Can't really remember that part if I'm being honest. But I guess that seems kind of weird. But then again, if she's the reincarnation of his long dead wife, why wouldn't he focus on her, or love or whatever? He seems to focus on her. Like I don't get the point. Oh well, neither does this guy. It's just, well, what's the point? Believe me, I know it's hard to look past nostalgia, but sometimes we all have to grow up and accept that not everything we loved as a kid was actually worthy of our love. For example, let's say you grew up with a certain stuffed animal and then you turn 13 and you know it's time to detach yourself from it, but you can't. I know from experience that's how a lot of horror fans are with older slasher films. They watched Candyman when they were 5 years old, and to this day their biased minds find it greater than anything any new horror film could possibly conceive. They overlook the fact that by today's standards Candyman is pure cheese. I'm not writing this review for those people. There's nothing whatsoever I can say that would ever slightly change your opinion. I'm writing this highly negative review for the open-minded horror fan out there who have yet to see the so-called classic. Oh, fuck me. Okay, I'm not gonna delve into that. That's a little too long. I don't have an open mind because, again, if you compare a movie that was made in like what, 92? Oh, it's actually older than I thought. Yeah, not older than I thought. It's newer than I thought. You can't really compare a movie to 92 with the standards of today. Also, the standards of today, like, my man, if you only watch the mainstream horror movies, maybe. But if you watch all the other shit that also gets released, like every bloody single day, my man, watch the shitstorm on Amazon Prime and other streaming services. There's a ton of crap still being released to this day. You seem like a mainstream horror fan, and you were disappointed by this. And I guess you just like modern horror. Go watch that for yourself, my friend. This is one of these movies that I hate to watch because it's a total waste of time and I cannot do anything at all to get my 2 hours back. This is the real horror of Candyman. Usually I like to start with the positive, but in this case there are no positive, aside for the brief moments when the Virginia Madsen was bathing in a tub. I guess it was kind of nice, but my man, that's the other thing in this movie that's great. Like, Tony Todd, he's like, he's a national treasure. I love Tony Todd. Candyman goes from bad to worse in a descending spiral into cinematographic badness. I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading. The whole movie, from the silly urban legend to the filming of it in a haunted housing project, is a nightmare. And I mean a nightmare, not from a horror movie perspective. The musical score is annoying to say the least. Philip Glass is a minimalistic as he is repetitive. The interracial love story adds a little to the film. The twist ending was predictable as cold weather in the winter. Acting is so why do people rave about this? I have not the foggiest idea. Maybe people are hypoglemic, who knows? Maybe it's because it tried to be a different, innovative horror movie, but it ended up being pretty boring and lame. Not even the Candyman was scary. He looks like the stereotypical pimp from Starsky and Hutch. Instead of watching this heap of fermented rotten candy, I recommend The Mothman Prophecies, which is a movie that deals with an eerie urban legend as much more entertaining way. Now, I have watched the Mothman, but it's been quite a while, so I can't really remember what happens, but I do seem to remember that it does not hold a bloody fucking candle to Candyman. Also, Candyman is a made-up urban legend. He's not like a real urban legend, as far as I know. Like the Mothman is like a very well-known urban legend, so there are some differences there. This was made from like the bottom up. The Mothman Prophecies has like years and years of people like talking and writing and doing stuff about it to like stand on, and that's a difference, my man. There's a difference. So I don't really get the complaint about the musical score. Again, it's been a while since I watched this, but I seem to remember that the music was fine to good. Like, there was no part where I was like, oh, it's bad. And stereotypical pimp from Starsky and Hutch, I mean, he had like a fur coat on, but I think he had like very unique and cool style, and I like that. Alright, one more short one. Where's love? Well, a lot of things being said. Good things. I mean, movies are full of imagination, but if they mean to be serious about some things, well, I mean, I want... What the fuck is up with his writing style? I want to say we have to think. Relaxing is good, but we have to think. For me, this... If he had a mad, deeply love, why didn't he go to heaven as a martyr? Or his love was just an affair and he's just a damn soul, a man with an ugly soul. Helen, what's with all the fucking commas, my man? Helen, well, what a good woman or potential killer. All in all, eternal love is gone with the wind and good woman becomes a damned soul. If I missed the point, please do tell me so. I think this dude is like 5 at the time of this review. I think this dude is like 5. That's something I don't even get. Go to hell like because to become a martyr. I guess you could say that about like most horror movie villains. Like, oh, why didn't he just become a martyr who suffered? And like, you know, all those horror movies where they have like a tortured past and they become evil because of it. Like, oh, why didn't he just become a martyr instead? Like, instead of haunting the people or becoming a serial killer. That's a really fucking lame argument, my man. But, oh well, it's your argument and it's your point and you are very well within the reason to make that fucking argument. Even though it's dumb. Really dumb. Cheers, we have one more movie before we are done with this. The last and 7th movie. And it is The Wailing. This is a South Korean movie that is... Oh my god, it's like one of these where I'm just gonna stop right now and say, if you have not watched The Wailing, please watch The Wailing before watching this. Or just watch the fucking Wailing, like my man. The Wailing is fucking amazing. It is one of my favorite like foreign horror movies, like Korean horror movies, and I really love this horror movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies. Bloody hell, man! It's so unique, and again, it's one of those movies where there's a lot of slow scenes, like it's slow paced. It's also quite a lengthy horror movie. I think it's like 2.5 hours long, and that's not something you see often with horror movies. But don't let that scare you because it's good. Like you would spend that with like a meaningless action movie or a James Bond movie or whatever, but not a horror movie. Especially something like this. It's just so bloody good. I really recommend this. And yeah, let's read some reviews. Alright. Ambitious but scattered in terms of focus. The Wailing was an excellent effort and I badly wanted to enjoy it, given the way critics have been raving. Instead, it left me frustrated and praying for the end credits repeatedly. Okay. I sort of liked the ending and the atmosphere of the film was fantastic, but overall it fell short of being truly enjoyable. I saw it twice in order to understand what spoiled the experience for me, and upon compilation, I think it was because of the film's overall lack of focus. I don't think we need to sit through 2.5 hours of it in order to reach the conclusion that it did, particularly since there is still a number of things in the film which do not add up by the time it ends. I feel like the editing in terms of tightening the storyline, would have been much better. Atmosphere is an important aspect of any horror movie, but you don't need 2.5 hours to build up, and the flow of the story could never be compromised. Moreover, great atmosphere is pointless if you don't exactly do anything with it, and this film didn't, at least not until the last 15 minutes or so. Another thing that made it difficult to sit through once and nearly unbearable to sit through a second time was the lack of a good character whom I truly liked. I know that's a thing to be annoyed with some characters in a horror movie. Too stupid to live is a trope for a reason, but this is the first film where I actually cheered for the evil side to win before the end. I don't want to be giving anything away because I don't think that this is a film that should be seen, especially since my opinion if it appears to be an outlier, but do prepare yourself to be completely aggravated by the character's behavior in this film. If that is what the director was going for, then well done. You sort of like the ending and the atmosphere was amazing, and you're giving this a 1. Are you on drugs, my man? Like, how can you give this a 1? I get your point, like, I understand your point, I don't agree with your point, that if you don't have, like, something to the atmosphere can lead up to, it's, like, pointless, but, I understand it to some degree, I just disagree with you. Like, oh my god, the last, like, 30 minutes of this movie was crazy. Like, there was a point where I was just, like, literally sitting on the edge of my seat, not knowing like who to trust, and like there's a scene like our main character doesn't know who to trust. Like, he has like 2 people telling him something, and he doesn't know who to trust. We don't know who to trust, and it is like, holy crap, it is heartbreaking. And for him to be unlikable, I would disagree. He's a bit of a bumbling town police officer, but I don't find him unlikable. He has some unlikable qualities. But I think that's very important for our main characters to have. Like, he doesn't need to be perfect. Like, he doesn't need to be Captain America. He's just a random, like, small town policeman who has like his bunch of flaws. Like, he tries to be a good dad, but he has some flaws in that. He tries to be good officers, but he has some problems with that. I think that's how we all are in our life. Like, we try to be good at what we are, but we have our flaws, and I think it gave him more character. I didn't think it made him unlikable. I just think it made him more likable, in my opinion. And yeah, that's my opinion on this. And yeah, moving on. Awful. At least it's short. I cannot believe all the positive reviews. This was worse than watching paint dry. Actually, watching an awful rerun of Rhonda Shear's Up All Night with an equally awful Linda Quiggy Brinky Steven double features would have been far less painful. I don't know who those people are. That review is something I don't understand. It might be funny to some people. I don't know who any of those people are. So let's just have some whiskey. Everything about this movie drove me crazy. Started with the buffoonish police, worse than the Keystone Cops scene so dark you can't see a thing, and not to mention everyone absolutely screaming in every scene. Well, it's called the Wailing. It's not called the Silent Hum. I just laughed at my own joke, and it was a pretty bad joke. Anyways, I lasted about 20 minutes before I couldn't take any more. 2.5 hours of torture, hell no. Loved Train to Busan and Parasite, but this left me grating my teeth. My man, 2 problems with that. 20 minutes and you have the fucking audacity to go in and give it like a 1-star review. Like, seriously. If I gave up on a movie like in the first 20 minutes, I just realized this was not made for me. I don't need to do anything more with this. I would not hurry in to give like a 1-star review, because like 20 minutes, that's like such a small percentage of like this movie that is like 2.5 hours long. You cannot judge this movie by the first 20 minutes. And compared to Train to Busan and Parasite, they are very different fucking movie. Just because they are Korean doesn't mean they are made by the same people. Like, it's like people who just say like all wine from Argentina is great, and like, you know, just compares because it's from one country, and it's kind of insulting in a degree, like to compare to those movies, because it's not fucking about that. And I'm babbling. Let's have some more beer. One of the worst movie. Wasted 2 hours, 29 minutes of my life. I am warning you, save those precious time and use it for something better. Like fucking what? What were you gonna use that 2.5 hours for? Like learn to play an instrument, learn a new language? Fuck off, my man. You were watching Jackass on the fucking toilet for 2.5 hours. Like, my... what am I saying? Okay, maybe I'm babbling a little on the side. Don't waste your time. It's not a horror or any scary. I don't know it's actor are acting or overreacting. Please don't waste your time. Like, I kind of like his point with the actors acting or overreacting. It sometimes is hard to judge like people from foreign movies how they're acting, because like people act differently in different countries. Like I often see that when like looking at a Japanese movie, or like just Asian movies in general, people act and behave in different ways than we do in the West. So it's kind of hard sometimes to judge if they're acting. And also the languages are very, very, very different. But I think as far as I know, they acted pretty well. Also, like in the minds of other Korean movie likers or movie connoisseurs or whatever you call them, they seem to agree that the acting is good. So and especially at the end, like the fucking heartbreaking end, my man. That was just great acting. Like no matter what nationality you're from, that was just great, and I really liked that. So yeah, great acting. Awful and scattered storyline with unreasonable ending. Actually, I got fooled by the positive reviews and rating of this movie, but please don't get fooled by the ratings. This is one of the awful horror movies I have seen in my entire life. Oh, sorry for calling it a horror movie. There was nothing horror in this movie. Well, in the story build up, it was nice and catchy, but the movie proceed, you start seeing the flaws in the story. There's a lot of gaps in the story. This is a movie without a main character, and a tough point goes to its sense and less unreasonable ending. Do not waste your time with this movie. Another B-grade movie will be far better than this. No main character. Like, were you even watching the fucking movie? Like the cop, man. The cop was the main character. I sure watched the same movie. Like, and sorry for calling it horror. It has nothing horror in this movie. It has like as I said, I mentioned the ending quite a few times. That is like so fucking horrifying, and it's one of those moments like, oh shit, my old leg just pulled it up. Damn, it's one of those movies where I wish I could kind of watch it again for the first time, just for the ending, not knowing like who to trust and what was going on, and I really felt that, my man. So yeah. Oops. So no, any other B-grade movie is not better than this. This is like up there with some of the greatest fucking movies, horror movies. My notes. Terrible, super long and boring. I couldn't get through it. After about an hour, I either watched in high speed or was half watching more than it went along. Just sucks. One viewing. I mean, yeah, it is long for a horror movie. I don't think it's boring. Definitely don't think it's boring. It builds up the characters and just again makes everything that happens so much more worse. And watching it at high speed, that's a weird thing. I know that that was the point. I don't notice if they have done it, but Netflix talked about it at some point, and I don't know if they have done it. I haven't checked up on that. That allow people to watch movies at a little higher speed. And it seems weird to watch movies like that, and you kind of miss the fucking point. I can understand it, because when I read that, I was like, oh, that sounds awesome, because whenever I watch like a TV series on Netflix, I kind of I watched the season, and then like, oh, a year later the second season come out, and I'm like, what the fuck happened in the first season? So I often have to before the second season come out, I have like the first season running in the background while I'm doing other crap, and doing that with a little higher speed could probably work really well, just so I can catch up to what happens in the second season. I don't know what that rant was about, but on first time watching a movie, don't watch it on like increased speed. Watch it as what is fucking watch it as it was fucking intended to. My God, this fucking nose has a life of its own. A waste of time. Can it do anything better? Rubbish. They should be ashamed. What have you done with your fucking life? What have you done with your fucking life to say that shit to? They made one of the best fucking horror movies. And you say, they can't do anything better? They should be ashamed. What the fucking hell have you done with your life? You should be fucking ashamed. Writing fucking shitty reviews on IMDb. Are you fucking proud of yourself? Are you not as fucking ashamed? Like, I'm starting to feel a little ashamed looking this silly in a fucking YouTube video
thing I'm making, and I'm pretty proud, my man, pretty proud. But no, they can't do anything better because it was fucking awesome.
Animal cruelty. Oh lord, these Koreans really have no respect for animals. I think again you're kind of putting Koreans in a box, which is not good. Like it's like saying all Americans are fat, like something like that, my friend. So don't do that. Anyways, these Koreans really have no respect for animals. I've lost count for the animals killed for this stupid film. Appalling, disgusting, disgraceful. Is it really necessary to kill animals for entertainment? Shocking. I will say, I did read up on that like not that long ago, and I seem to remember that the only animals killed was like lower formed animals, or that was how they phrased it, and that is like a box. Like I think a worm in the beginning of the movie loses its life. There are some chickens that are killed. I can't really remember, but I don't think they actually die. I think that's just movie tricks. And there's a dog, which also people have claimed looks like it died for real. It did not. The dog is still alive, or I don't know if it's still alive, but it survived the fucking movie. It wasn't killed for the movie. I'm not sure the chicken was killed for the movie. There's a worm that died for the movie, as far as I know. Maybe some other bugs, who knows? Like how many bugs do you step on, like in a week, in a year, whatever? And what did you do with it? These people created like a fucking art. And you just went on with the way, not feeling bad about it. Yeah. On to the next review. 2.5 hours gone and it won't come back. This was one of the most meaningless movies I have seen in my entire life, and it had 2.5 hours to have a meaning in it. Don't waste your time. Trouble movie, nonsense and troubled movie. Don't waste your time for disaster movie. What the fuck is on? Like at least there are a couple of short reviews right here, but still, what the fuck are you on, man? Nonsense and trouble? What does that fucking even mean? Like what the fucking kind of review is that to leave? No idea what was going on. I turned it off after 19 minutes. What the fuck, man? And then you come in and leave a review anyway. No idea what was going on. Just a lot of yelling. I'm sure many others will enjoy this, just not for me. What the heck? I really don't get the love for this terrible movie. How on earth this got above a 4 is beyond me. 2 cops screaming at each other and one is getting caught having sex by his daughter. I have no idea why a comedy isn't listed on this movie because it certainly is not horror. The cinematography was okay, nice in parts, but several obvious film set screams ruined the mood. The acting was weak and the script sucked. Swearing doesn't make a movie real or gritty. It just kind of cheapens an already terrible experience. I summed this review up by saying that it was clearly trying to just imitate a trashy US zombie flick, but in doing so it came across in ridiculous and unmemorable. This is the first Korean horror flick I have ever seen, and it was, in my opinion, a complete waste of time. A US zombie flick. You compare this fucking movie to a US zombie flick and have the fucking audacity to claim that they are imitating shit from a US zombie film. Dude, this is so much more its own thing. And like, sure, there are like parts where there are like some zombie kind of looking characters, but that's not what it's fucking about. Like, you don't know what the fuck this movie is about. And I'll be honest, it's been a while since I watched it, so I'm not quite sure what it's about. But oh my fucking man, the zombies are not the fucking point. That's like one scene where it's like very, very, very zombie like. But overall, I think it's. I think you're dumb. I think you're just a fucking idiot. And I think that's enough for today. That was all the fucking movies. I don't have it in me. I just don't fucking have it in me anymore. Don't want to watch any more bloody bad reviews of great fucking movies. Like, people are fucking idiots. still have a little more beer left. Oh, I forgot to turn this thing on. Ooh, see, that would have made this entire video much better if I had that thing on throughout this thing. How fucking dumb. Anyways, yeah, I'm through the movies, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed both by being angry and being a bit drunk. So I also had a few beers before, like sitting down here. So yeah, I'm feeling it, and I've like, once again proved that I'm terrible at reading. And to my defense, the computer is like all the way over there somewhere, and that's pretty hard to see from all the way over here. So yeah, my offense. The more I drink, it doesn't get easier to watch. And yeah, think I'm done for now, and really happy you watched it. And if you've been sticking through the bad English and me being like fucking weirdo who can't read English, understand, speak words and other stuff, you are a real hero. Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween. Tomorrow I'm gonna go down and get a refund for this shit.